Hey guys, so you might have seen the video. I listed all the discs that I got in players packs and tournaments this year, and I have to say it's a pretty cool selection overall. Thought the tournament directors did a good job of procuring something during a pretty short time. Some of them getting some neat tournament stamps, and for the ones who had payout, very cool selection for the most part. So today I went out to Deerfield and decided to make a bag with just those discs, and hope you guys enjoy it. I enjoyed throwing some of them more than others, and it'll give us a better perspective on, do players really want or need players pack discs. So I hope you enjoy the very nice round at Deerfield Disc Golf Park this morning, and I know I learned a little bit of something about a few of the discs, and maybe you will too.
Jumping right in, hole number one's a triple Mando, so I'm going Deflector off the tee. Sorry about leaning into shot there, but got it up there pretty close to the basket. Edge of circle putt. I hadn't really warmed up, ran it with the P Model US and just missed right. Easy drop in par though, and we are started. So on hole two, I went with a tactic off the tee. Ended up just outside the circle, a little bit left. Tried to go Anheuser putt around that tree with the Fierce. Ended up not giving it enough, but another easy par to start off. And on hole three, going with the Felon, dropping my glasses, and I didn't throw that one hard enough. I really think the Felon was the shot, but ended up short, and also hit that branch with the Fierce, trying to run it, and got another par. So going Teebird here on hole four, and it actually did really, really well. Got down there pretty close to the basket, and gave myself a look just outside the circle. No head really, so I just ended up trying to lay up around the OB there. Another par. On number five, going Felon through the outside route. Usually I throw a flare here that gets more skip than the Felon did, but I still gave myself a putt in circle two range. Ran it pretty good, but did not quite convert. Going zone on hole six. Just a nice little hyzer. It hooks up nice and hard late. And finally got myself a pretty easy tap-in birdie with a 10-foot putt there. Hole seven, I like taking this wide line, so I'm trying the H3 V2. Lost my glasses again. It did not come back as hard as the Metal Flake Teebird I normally throw there, but still gave myself a decent look. Just outside the circle again. And the P Model US has got some fade, but not enough to get around that tree the way I wanted. Another par. Hole eight, going A2 through that gap, kind of babying it a little bit so it doesn't go long into the OB. You can see how tight that water is to the basket, and end up converting for my second birdie. Hole nine, I'm playing the Felon through a wide gap again. Really threw this one pretty good, but once again, it didn't skip quite as much as I wanted. I'm liking the Felon, but it's not as overstable as I'm used to from the flare in that slot. Trying to run it, once again, scared with water behind. And look at all that water out there at Deerfield today. It's pretty deep, and we'll probably be there for the next couple of days. You can see the OB posts there, the water's all the way up to them everywhere, beyond in some spots. So going DX rock here, and really threw the shot well, but underthrew it a little bit. Should have got it a little bit wider, but just outside the circle again. And once again, just missing what should have been probably a putt. Going M Model US here on this real tight hole in number 11. Ended up having a pretty decent result. Just outside the circle, right at 45 feet. And feel like I gave this one a pretty good run with the Fierce there. And just didn't give it quite enough height. Go H3 V2 here, and it hits that pine branch and mercifully lands inches short of the OB. So I'm just going to pitch up here with the P Model US and then tap in for another par. Going Compass off the tee here on 13. I usually go forehand, but the backhand felt like a better route since the Felon's not skipping much for me. And it works out pretty good. So I gave myself a pretty good putt and ended up being able to go 3 down. So this is a 500-foot, almost 600-foot par 4 here. Went with the H3 V2 again on that outside line. And now I'm going Felon to try to eat up the rest of the distance. Now, I honestly am pretty happy with that shot. but I didn't put quite enough on it because I wanted to make sure it would fade around that tree. And ended up throwing the scoob here because I wanted to sit near the basket without going OB long or right. Another par. On this one I usually go forehand, but I decided to go NV backhand through that narrow gap inside and gave myself a pretty good look. Ended up going with PML US again and got another birdie. So 4 down at this point. On this one, it's got a lot of OB close, so I ended up going with that big sky hyzer with the A2. Didn't put quite enough on it, so I'm just outside the circle again. Really thought I had this one, but just not quite enough height with the P Model US, so another par. M Model US here through this narrow gap on hole 17. It's one of the harder holes on the course. And it pures it great. Ended up with a kind of obstructed putt here, right at like 27 feet uphill. And I am very excited to make that putt. My putts have been just missing all day. On 18, I ended up going with the Felon off the tee. I had the D1, but I was really afraid with all this OB on the right side. You can see there that it was better to go with a slower disc and go A2 on approach. And I don't know if you could hear it or see it, but it actually hit the pole. So got a pretty easy drop-in birdie here on the par 4. And 19 is actually the hardest hole in the course with all this OB all around. I went Felon short, kind of babied it a little bit, and then A2 to the pin where I babied it again. But left myself a putt and ended up saving it for a par. 20 is kind of a must-make birdie, so I'm going tactic just right around the outside there. Ends up getting really close to the basket, skipping just past, and I've got a putt to go 7 down. And see if I can make this one. 7 down is usually what I'm aiming for because that usually rates in between 960 and 970.
I hope you guys all enjoyed watching me play Deerfield with just my players pack discs from this year. I won't be keeping all of them, but we'll be keeping a lot, especially the ones with the cool tournament stamps and ones that I got to pick out. So I'm pretty happy with that round overall. 6-7 down is usually what I'm aiming for there. That'll put you in between 950 and 975 ratings wise, depending on how everybody plays, what the conditions are, and who shows up. So I'm trying to get around there anyway, and I was able on the last few holes to get some birdies I don't always get, like on 17, and end up putting a pretty decent score together. I enjoyed a lot of those discs. Some standouts were the H3V2, which is more overstable than I thought it was going to be, and also not quite as long. It throws a little bit more like somewhere between a Thunderbird type disc, like a beat-in Thunderbird, more so than the beat-in Wraith that everyone has compared it to. And then I really like the Compass. The Envy, of course, I like. A2 threw great. And I never did throw the D1. The only time I thought that I might throw it was there on 18. And with all that water on the right-hand side, I just decided it was easier to go with the Felon. And I like the Felon, but it does not fade quite as hard as I would ideally like it to. So overall, good disc. I had a good time, and hope you guys liked it. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.